Three Kingdoms. When heroes tore an empire apart. In the twilight of the Han Dynasty, the empire that once stood proud began to crumble. Corruption festered in the court. Eunuchs pulled the strings behind the throne. The once mighty imperial family had become a shadow of itself, and then chaos. From the ruins of order rose the era of the fray. Three Kingdoms. A time of war, loyalty, betrayal, and legends. This was not just a time of battles, it was a time of heroes, men whose names would be etched into history and whispered in taverns for centuries. Liu Bei, the benevolent and virtuous. Cao Cao, the brilliant and ruthless. Quan, the steady and pragmatic. They weren't just warlords, they were symbols of competing visions for China's future. But let's rewind. The beginning of the end came with the Yellow Turban Rebellion in 184 CE. Peasants, driven by famine and corruption, rose in a religious revolt that rocked the Han Dynasty. The court couldn't handle it alone, so it turned to regional warlords for help. Bad idea, because once these warlords tasted power, they weren't giving it back. And in the midst of the chaos emerged Cao Cao, a cunning strategist who took control of the Han Emperor and ruled in his name. He didn't care much for titles, he cared about power. Cao Cao was the kind of guy who'd compliment your swordsmanship while stabbing you with it. Under his command, the North was united and organized with ruthless efficiency. Meanwhile, in the South, two unlikely forces were rising. Liu Bei, a descendant of the Han royal family, or so he claimed, styled himself as the champion of righteousness. A man of virtue, loyalty, and very good at attracting talent. He had two legendary allies, Guan Yu and Bai Feiwa, sworn brothers who pledged to restore the Han. And let's not forget Zhuge Liang, the genius strategist who joined Liu Bei after a few dramatic rejections, as all proper geniuses do. Then there was Quan, heir to his brother's legacy in the southeastern lands. More cautious than Cao Cao, more grounded than Liu Bei, Quan built a strong navy and defended his territory wisely. His domain, Wu, became the third great power in the land. Everything came to a head at the Battle of Red Cliffs, around 208 CE. Cao Cao, emboldened by success in the north, marched south with a massive army, but Liu Bei and Quan, uneasy allies, joined forces. Using clever tactics, a fake surrender and a whole lot of fire, they burned Cao Cao's fleet to ashes. It was the turning point. China would not be unified. At least not yet. After Red Cliffs, the land split definitively into three kingdoms. Weikai, under Cao Cao's descendants in the north, Shapat, under Liu Bei in the west, and Wota under Quan in the southeast. Each claimed legitimacy, each prepared for decades of war. What followed was a saga of shifting alliances, surprise betrayals, and brilliant campaigns. Zhuge Liang launched his famous northern expeditions, trying to conquer Wei. He failed, but barely. He died of exhaustion, literally working himself to death while plotting war. Talk about dedication. In Wu, Quan tried to balance ambition with diplomacy, but over time, internal struggles weakened his court. As for Wei, though it had the largest territory, it eventually fell prey to internal scheming. In 265 CE, a general named Sima Yan overthrew the last Wei emperor and established the Jin dynasty. Slowly, the Jin conquered the other two kingdoms. By 280 CE, China was technically reunified, but the glory was short-lived. So what did this era give us besides war and broken dynasties? It gave us stories. Epic, dramatic, heart-wrenching tales that would become the stuff of legend. The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, a novel written over 1,000 years later, turned these historical events into myth. It told us that the empire long divided must unite, long united must divide. And boy, did it divide spectacularly. We got unforgettable characters: Liu Bei, the tragic hero; Cao Cao, the villain you can't help admiring; Zhuge Liang, the wizard of war; Guan Yu, the god of loyalty; Sima Yi, the patient spider weaving his web, and so many more. But beyond the drama, the Three Kingdoms era was a reflection of something deeper. It showed the cost of ambition, the fragility of empires, the power and danger of charismatic leadership, and how even heroes, in pursuit of noble causes, can bring nations to ruin. In the end, it wasn't the strength of arms that saved China. It was time. Time to heal, time to rebuild, and time for new dynasties to rise. So the next time you hear someone romanticize the Three Kingdoms, remember, yes, it was a golden age of heroes. But it was also a time of suffering, division, and endless war. A time when the empire broke, not in spite of its greatest men, but because of them. Because when every hero wants to save the world their way, sometimes there's no world left to save.